Iran has released what it says are the first visuals of its missile strikes on U.S. military bases, offering a dramatic look at its claimed retaliation. Calling it a response to U.S. aggression, Iran has unveiled footage showing a barrage of missiles launched toward American military targets. Iran has published dramatic new footage that it says captures its attack on American targets during the latest military confrontation. Iran is escalating its rhetoric by highlighting reported American casualties and injuries, using the conflict to amplify its message against Washington. One of the missile warheads carried a message directed at U.S. President Trump, adding a symbolic dimension to the military exchange. In a sharp propaganda message, Iran claimed that Trump's only success was boosting the business of U.S. coffin makers and wheelchair manufacturers. The latest footage comes after Iran's missile launches triggered widespread alarm across Kuwait and Bahrain, heightening fears of a broader regional escalation. Mujtaba wastes no time punishing Trump's forces after Tehran alleges the ceasefire was violated. Fresh panic after Iran fires missiles and drones at US-linked military targets across the Gulf region. Explosions rock Bahrain. Air defenses engage missiles and drones over neighboring Kuwait. US and Bahrain claim they shot down 9 Iranian attack drones during the latest regional escalation. Iran retaliates hours after US airstrikes targeted military facilities in southern Iran. Trump ordered the latest strikes on Iran, citing what Washington called repeated ceasefire violations. US forces hit Iranian missile, drone, and coastal radar positions in coordinated operations. Explosions shake Qeshm Island and southern Iran as US raids target strategic military sites. CENTCOM says strikes targeted air defenses, drones, and naval mine-laying infrastructure. US SEDOP followed Iranian drone attack on a commercial tanker near the Strait of Hormuz. Trump threatens Iran. Islamic Republic may no longer exist if attacks continue against US interests. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "United States aircraft just struck Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites for violating the ceasefire agreement again. It is very possible that they will never learn. There may come a point when we are no longer able to be reasonable and will be forced to militarily complete the job that we very successfully started. If that happens, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist." Unquote. Iran claims it hit US 5th Fleet Base in Bahrain and Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait. IRGC says joint missile drone strikes targeted 8 key US military installations across the Gulf region. Iran strikes US-linked targets in Bahrain as fresh hostilities threaten to derail the fragile peace process. Bahrain accuses Iran of drone strike near the strategic US 5th Fleet headquarters. Manama condemns attack as a blatant breach of its sovereignty and regional security. Bahrain vows to defend its territory as fears of a wider Gulf escalation grow. Tehran defends defensive response, saying it acted after recent US military strikes on Iran. Iran says US airstrikes violated the war-ending agreement reached just last week. US struck Iranian missile, drone, and radar sites only hours before Tehran's response. Pentagon said strikes retaliated for the drone attack on a cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz. New tit-for-tat strikes to push the fragile US-Iran ceasefire to the brink of collapse?
Mr. President, you said that Iran violated the ceasefire.
Yeah,
will they face any consequences?
Well, you'll find out.
Do you consider the ceasefire to still be in place?
I don't like the fact that they took a shot yesterday, actually 4, we knocked down 3, at a ship. Not an allied ship, but a ship, a very expensive ship. And it was fine, but it took a little beating. They shouldn't be doing that, so you'll find out.
Will the U.S.
You'll find out exactly.
Will the U.S. respond? What is your message to
Will
Iran?
I respond? You're going to find out.
The US-Iran ceasefire is now facing what could be its biggest test since the agreement was announced. Iran's IRGC claims it carried out retaliatory strikes against US military targets in the region. Tehran has accused Washington of violating the peace agreement, raising fresh concerns about the ceasefire's future. IRGC's statement read, and I quote, "According to Article 5 of the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, arrangements for controlling transit and movement in the Strait of Hormuz are under the responsibility of the Islamic Republic of Iran. However, the United States, by inciting various parties, sought to violate this commitment, and an appropriate response was given, and it will be the same going forward. In the event of a repeated act of aggression, our response will be broader than this." Unquote. An Iranian official has condemned the US attack, calling it a reckless violation of the ceasefire agreement. Ibrahim Azizi said, and I quote, "The US attacked Iran in the middle of negotiations once again. The failed US president has shown he has no commitment to the principles of negotiation or a ceasefire. This reckless violation of the ceasefire will, as always, lead to retreat and regret on their part. The blame game does not work anymore." Unquote. The strikes came after the US accused Iran of being responsible for an attack on a commercial vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. The US military says it targeted Iranian missile, drone, and radar sites during the operation. CENTCOM's statement read, and I quote, "US Central Command, CENTCOM, forces conducted strikes against Iran, June 26, as a powerful response to yesterday's attack on a commercial ship that was transiting the Strait of Hormuz. US aircraft struck Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites after Iran hit MV Ever Lovely on June 25 with a one-way attack drone. The Singapore-flagged cargo ship was exiting the Strait of Hormuz along the Omani coast at the time of Iran's attack. The unwarranted aggression against commercial shipping by Iranian forces clearly violated the ceasefire. Furthermore, Iran's dangerous behavior undermined freedom of navigation as commerce increasingly flows through the vital international trade corridor. CENTCOM forces continue to provide safe passage coordination and support to commercial vessels transiting the strait. The US military remains present and vigilant to ensure all aspects of the agreement with Iran are adhered to, obeyed, and in full force and effect." Unquote. Iran has rejected allegations of attacking the commercial vessel, calling them false flag operations. Meanwhile, President Trump's vice president issued a fresh warning, urging Iran not to risk further escalation. J.D. Vance said, and I quote, "Iran signed a ceasefire agreement. We have honored it. If they have disagreements about how the Memorandum of Understanding is being applied, they can pick up the phone, but violence will be met with violence." Unquote. The United States has urged Iran to resolve tensions through diplomacy rather than military action. As both sides trade accusations, the fragile ceasefire is coming under growing pressure. The big question now is whether the US-Iran peace deal is already beginning to unravel.